Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be showing my Nintendo Switch collection. Despite being the newest console I own, it's one of my largest libraries. I've been consistently adding titles as they've come out. I haven't picked up as many games over the last couple of years as I've been focusing on playing older consoles, and I just haven't had the time to play a lot of Switch games. With that being said, let's get into this right away, starting with the consoles. So the first console I got is the original Switch. This is the original box variant. I know a lot of the newer ones are in smaller, like all red boxes. I didn't get it when it came out. I got it, I think, in July of 2017, so about 4 months after it came out. And it lasted quite a long time. I mean, it still works. My right Joy-Con is drifting. I did send the left one in at one point to get it fixed, and that got fixed. But as soon as I got it back, the right one started having some problems. But at the end of last year, I did upgrade to the OLED model, which if you play a lot in handheld mode, it's definitely a worthy upgrade. The screen's really nice. It feels a lot sturdier. That kickstand's pretty nice, even though I don't really use it. Just a lot of small, minor improvements. Unfortunately, they didn't improve the Joy-Cons at all. But for someone who's had the Switch since around the time it came out, I figured it was finally time for me to make an upgrade. Speaking of Joy-Cons, these are actually still sealed, but I do have a pair of orange and purple Joy-Cons. The reason why these are still sealed is because I did buy them as a backup pair, but then I ended up getting the OLED, and I figured that I could just use the ones from there. But if I ever need a spare pair, I definitely will crack these open and start using them. I also got a Pro controller. The reason why I actually got this Pro controller is because when I got Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, my Joy-Cons are really bothering me, and I was pretty stingy. Like, I don't want to buy new Joy-Cons. I don't really want to buy a Pro controller unless I need one, but I just finally decided to get one. It was definitely a worthwhile investment. The Pro controller is the only way I play in docked mode. I used to always play with the little plastic peripheral that you slide the Joy-Cons into. I don't remember what it's called. But the Pro controller, if you don't have one, is definitely a high recommendation. That's enough about the hardware. Let's get into the games. The first one I have is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm pretty sure this is still my most played Switch game at about 270 hours last I checked. Definitely had a lot of fun with this one, especially when everybody was playing it because everybody was kind of stuck inside. Had fun playing with friends and all that. Going back, I mean, I never even really played the latest update stuff because at that point I was just kind of done with the game. But a lot of people kind of like to trash on this game now because they say it's not as good as some of the other ones like New Leaf or even the original for certain reasons. I still had a lot of fun with this game. It just reached a point where I was kind of done with it, and I think that's perfectly fine. I still got more than what I wanted out of it, and I still recommend it, even if it has some features that are still missing. The next game I got is Balan Wonderworld. I actually think I got this on clearance for about like $3, if I remember. Definitely not a good game, but it's Balan Wonderworld. I was really excited when this game was announced because I'm like, oh, another 3D platformer. It looks kind of interesting. It looked like it could have been decent. Nothing like too amazing, but it reminded me of like those PS2 era games. I thought it would be like mediocre at worst, but unfortunately it was quite bad. The Switch version doesn't run very good. But it was, I mean, it was fun just to experiment with. I did play that demo, which I knew I wasn't going to like the game based on that, but I still gave it a try for those $3. And whether or not it was worth it or not, I don't know, but I did beat it, and I don't remember a ton, to be honest. I remember a few levels, but it's all kind of a blur. I can't believe I actually ended up playing it. So, not a recommendation, but I mean, if you're going to play it, don't play the Switch version. That's all I can say. Play something that runs better, like the PS5 version or the PS4 version, or definitely the PC version, which even that doesn't run that great. But yeah, Balan Wonderworld, kind of a joke of a game, unfortunately. Just hoping to be something decent, but it really wasn't. Next game I definitely have to go back and play, but this one, I think right after it came out, was already on sale for like $20 or something, because I think it was a $30 game. So I decided to check it out. And yeah, it's definitely more big brain. I should definitely play it some more. I don't really have much to say. I've maybe only put like 3-4 hours into this. And I haven't played the multiplayer. But if you played the big brain games on DS or Wii and you enjoyed those, this one's worth checking out. I'm sure you'll get more out of it if you have people to play with. But I do remember the online stuff being decent. So if you can find this one for cheap, it's worth getting, I guess. The next one is one of quite a few that you'll see that I got in a GameStop deal a couple of years ago. I don't remember what the exact deal was. I want to say it was if you bought like 5 or more games that were under $20, they were 50% off. So I think all the games ended up being about 10, if I remember correctly. So the first one of those is Burnout Paradise Remastered. This one I haven't really played. I booted it in. I got kind of thrown off by the EA stuff because it has like all the online stuff that's like mandatory. I don't even remember. But I did put it in. I'm like, oh, I have to deal with all this EA stuff. I never ended up really playing it. I've heard pretty good things about this one. I've never played a Burnout game. Looking forward to checking it out. I just hope that this EA stuff or whatever it was before doesn't really put me off from ever playing this. But yeah, got Burnout Paradise. Next one I believe was also part of that GameStop deal, which I haven't played yet because I'm waiting to play the multiplayer of Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana, and that is the Collection of Mana. I love this box art. I've always been interested in the Mana games. As I said, I haven't played this, but I got it for a good deal, and I'm just waiting to find some people to play these games with. So that's all I can say about this one. Next one I got is Crash Bandicoot 4. This one was pretty good. I didn't love it quite as much as a lot of other people, but I also didn't really grow up with Crash. I remember playing a tiny bit of the first game, and I think Wrath of Cortex, but not enough of them. But I did end up picking this up, I think on Black Friday one year. I enjoyed my time with it. Definitely a really solid platformer, but not one of my favorite platformers by any means, but definitely worth it. Definitely a worthy sequel. And from my experience and from what I've heard from the fans, it definitely seems like a game that's worthy of that Crash Bandicoot 4 title. Next one is another one I got in that GameStop deal. I think this one might have been actually less than $10. For some reason, I think it was like 5, maybe 7. I don't remember. I don't know a ton about it, but I think it's Chris Tales. It looks like it's... I'm not even exactly sure what type of game it is. I think it's a turn-based RPG. But... I mean, it looks like it must be at least decent if it's gotten all those awards or whatever. I don't know. It was a cheap Switch game, and this game was cheap on like every system, but I don't know. Really cheap title, so I figured I'd try it out. Can't say much about it because I haven't tried it yet. Another one that was part of that GameStop deal, which I've been really wanting to play, but I'm just really scared to get into long RPGs right now, and that is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition, which I believe comes with 2 games. I don't remember what the individual games are called, but yeah, it looks like Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory in one game, so it's those 2 games. I think they're both like 50-hour RPGs. I just don't have the time for them right now, unfortunately, but I've heard good things, and as I said, it was a really good price. I just still haven't gotten around to it. Next one I got is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Why this game is still so expensive, I don't know. I ended up caving and buying it on sale, but it was still like $40, I think. I played the Wii U version, and I liked it, but I never quite understood why people said it was like one of the best platformers of all time. And while it's still not one of my personal favorite 2D platformers of all time, and I still prefer like Donkey Kong Country 2 over it, when I replayed it on the Switch, I definitely understand that title a lot more. I actually haven't even tried the new Funky Mode, I just ended up replaying the game. Yeah, this is definitely a really good platformer. I just don't know why it's so expensive. If you have a Wii U, play it on Wii U, but unfortunately, many people don't have a Wii U. So definitely worth checking out. Definitely better than like the new Super Mario Brothers games. And probably still one of the best 2D platformers on the console. Next one I actually got 2 copies of. I have my open copy, and I think I got this one on clearance. I don't remember how much, but I have a sealed copy, which I'm probably going to end up giving to someone who doesn't have it, because I highly recommend this game. One of my favorite Dragon Quest titles out of the, I think, 5 I've played. I think I mentioned this in my 3DS collection. I think I prefer 8 a little more over this. But this is definitely a really good modernized version of Dragon Quest. I always wanted to play it on PS4 or PC, but I never had a PS4 and the PC version. I just like, I'm going to keep waiting for Switch. I'm going to keep waiting for a Switch. And then it finally came out on a Switch. I played that demo, and I was so excited to get this game. That demo is one of the best demos of all time. It has so much content. So if you are interested in this at all, definitely play that demo. I haven't even touched the 2D version. There's so much content in this game. Gameplay is fantastic. As I said, it's a really modernized take on the classic Dragon Quest formula. While it's still that classic turn-based combat, there's just so many small things in this game that make it modernized and easy for new audiences. But I can't say enough good things about this game. There's a point where the game ends and there's kind of like a post-credits third act that's like another like 20 to 30 hours if I remember correctly, and I definitely recommend playing that. It really makes the game whole and expands upon so many things. I don't even really consider the game being done if you don't play that third act. But I could go on about this game for quite a while. One of my favorites on the console, and probably still the best version to play. I believe they ported this version to Xbox and PC now, I want to say. The S version, that was originally the Switch exclusive version. Yeah, I would definitely say this is the best way to play it. Unless you don't care about playing it portably at all, then I guess Dragon Quest 11S on any other console, as long as it's the S version, will do just fine. But fantastic game. Next one is the one I was pretty disappointed by, Dragon Quest Builders 2. I don't remember how many hours I put in this game. Too many. And I did not like it. I don't know why I kept playing it. It was kind of a running joke with me and my friend group. Like, why do you keep playing this game? You seem miserable. I don't know. It's just another one of those games that made me realize that length and amount of content doesn't equate to value. If you're paying $60 for a really good 10 hours that you love, it's much better than paying $60 for an 100-hour game you're just kind of bleh about. And that's kind of how I felt about this one. I really enjoyed it from the start. It's got a lot of cool little things. I liked building stuff, obviously, and the combat was really simplistic but fun. And it seemed like something I would really like, but unfortunately the game just goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. I think there's like 5 different islands. I would have been happy enough if the game ended after the first island, at the very least after like the first 3. So I'm working the second island, I'm like, oh, I'm almost done. And then finding out I was nowhere near done. I should have just dropped the game and savored my good memories with it, but unfortunately I decided to keep playing it all the way through to the end, and it was not a good time. So unfortunately I didn't like this one, but I feel like a lot of other people would, so I give it a hesitant recommendation. If you look at it and you think you'd like it, you might like it, but unfortunately I didn't really like it that much. Next one is Final Fantasy XII, the Zodiac Age. Actually, funny story about this game before I talk about the game itself. I remember I was going on a flight. I was looking for something to play. I was thinking about either getting this, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, or SMT4 on 3DS, because I happened to go into a GameStop and see, I think it was SMT Apocalypse. And I might have seen a couple other 3DS games. I think it was like $20. Little did I know that the 3DS prices would skyrocket. So I probably should have bought Apocalypse if I was looking for a game that would be harder to get now. But I ended up picking this up because I wasn't really in the mood for a tactical RPG. And I'd heard some pretty good things about this, especially the Zodiac Age version. And from what I can tell, the Zodiac Age version is definitely the best way to play it. I really like the world of this game, just running around the world. As I said, it's a very big world, so without that speed enhancement that is offered in the Zodiac Age version on Switch, I don't think I would have been able to get through it. Your playtime would be probably doubled. I just mentioned Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and eventually I did end up picking that game up, I think on Black Friday, however many years ago. And I don't really like this game that much. I do want to go back to it and give it another try. Maybe only played about 5 hours of it. But my main gripe with this game was just that I personally didn't really like all the school stuff. And I know you can kind of skip most of it and do most of it automatically. But then I feel like I was skipping half the game. I just wanted the tactical combat. I didn't want to mess with any of the school stuff. I didn't want to mess with like the 3 different paths and have to play it 3 different times, which I know you don't have to. But yeah, unfortunately, just the way this game is built doesn't really appeal to me. But I'm willing to go back and give it another shot in the future. The next one is still sealed. I have played it, just not on Switch, and that's the Jackbox Party Pack 7. Just play the Jackbox Party Pack games regardless of the platform. I bought this one because I thought it was interesting that it got a physical. I still think it's the only one of the games that's gotten a physical, besides maybe the first one did back in the day or something. On like PS3, I'm not honestly sure. But yeah, if you haven't checked out the Jackbox games, just check them out in general. This is one of the best. So if you're only getting one, I would definitely recommend 7. Next game is Katamari Damacy Reroll. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. I actually never played this game until this. Well, I guess I played it originally on PC, but I never played it until the reroll version. And I liked it so much, it got a sale on Switch, and I had to buy a physical copy. I couldn't just have it digitally on my computer. Fantastic game. I'm really looking forward to picking up the We Love Katamari reroll as well. Fantastic. Can't recommend this enough. It's a more budget Switch title. I think even when it's like not on sale, you can get this game for like $20. And digitally, even cheaper, probably like closer to 5 or 10. So yeah, fantastic. I can't say anything else other than good things about Katamari. Next one, as I said, I don't remember the exact cost I paid for all these games, but this was another one I got during one of those GameStop sales. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning. I haven't played it yet. Looking forward to it. Definitely seems like a long game. But I don't know. It's just something about this game looks like it'll really hit when I end up playing it. Like when I decide to play this game and I'm in the mood to play it, I just have a feeling it'll just really be a good time for whatever reason. So yeah, I always thought this was kind of a weird release on Switch though. Next one I got is Kirby Star Allies. It's a Kirby game. That's all I can say. It's not anything particularly good. Maybe I would enjoy it more if I played it with co-op with other people, but this is just whatever. It's pretty mediocre, unfortunately. Next one's a big one. I still haven't picked up Tears of the Kingdom, but of course I have Breath of the Wild. I mean, what can I say about this? I played this game so much. It was the first Switch game I got, like many people. It's not my favorite Switch game, but it's definitely one of the most essential and one of the best. Next up, another Zelda game, Link's Awakening, a remake. I liked it for the most part. I never played the original version, but I don't know. It's just a top-down 2D Zelda game. I didn't really connect with this game like a lot of other people did. I just think it's a solid Zelda game. Nothing more, nothing less. Maybe if I replayed it, I would like it a little more, but like out of the 2 top-down Zelda games I've played, I much prefer Link Between Worlds over this. The next one is Luigi's Mansion 3. This is another game that was a little bit too long. I feel like it was in like the 15 to 20 hour range when it would have been better if it was in the 10 to 15 hour range. But maybe that's just me. There's a couple floors up here that just feel kind of unnecessary. I remember one boss fight where the guy's like in an inner tube. I don't remember his name, but I remember struggling a lot with him. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this. Definitely worth getting. I still have never played the first Luigi's Mansion, but out of 2 and 3, I'd definitely say this is probably the better game. Probably one of the best looking games on Switch, and a good time overall. I mean, what can I say? I think it's still the best-selling Switch game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Played a decent amount of 8 on Wii U, but I actually played a lot more of this version, especially with those booster course pass tracks. Those are a lot of fun. It's Mario Kart. It's one of the most refined in the series, if not the most refined and best in the series. You can have your preferences. You can like Wii. You can prefer Double Dash, but I still think at the end of the day, this one just kind of like, this is what Mario Kart should be. There's other things that other games might do a little better, but this is just the most well-rounded Mario Kart package, in my opinion, especially with the massive amount of courses that we're still getting to this day. Now, when I got that game, this is actually a Best Buy Steelbook. It's still sealed. There's no game in it or anything, but it did come with this Steelbook, so I thought I'd show this as part of the collection as well. Don't have anything to say about it, but it is pretty cool. It's kind of weird that it doesn't have any text on the spine or anything, but cool little display, collectible item. Next one is Mario Party Superstars. I played a lot of this game for the first couple weeks. I probably have about 20-30 hours in it, but after that, I just haven't really gone back to it as much as I would love to. The online works surprisingly well, even with random people. And yeah, this is just a ton of fun. Obviously, same criticisms as many people. Yes, it could use more boards. It could use a couple more characters. But this is probably the best Mario Party's been since the GameCube. So if you're looking for a Mario Party game, this is the one that's the most accessible, and it's one of the best in recent memory. So definitely looking for a Mario Party fix or just a fun party game, highly recommend this one. Next one is one that took many by surprise, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I enjoyed this game quite a bit. I still want to pick up that sequel eventually. I've heard pretty good things about it. A lot of people say it's even better than this one. But yeah, talk about a game that we saw, I think it got leaked or something. And everybody's like, what is this? And then it ended up being pretty good. I still haven't played that Donkey Kong DLC, but that looks like a lot of fun as well. It probably is the cheapest Mario game you can get on Switch. You see this game on sale for like, I swear, less than $10 sometimes. I think even the gold version on Switch with all the DLC like digitally, you can get that for like $10 on sale a lot of the time. Definitely worth checking this one out if you're into tactical games, especially if you have kids or people that have never played like a tactical game before. This is definitely a good first like tactical RPG to play. Next one is Monster Hunter Rise. I think I put this in my Switch, downloaded the update, and then never played it. So with Monster Hunter, I played 3 Ultimate on Wii U, and I kept coming back to it like multiple times, restarting it, and I don't ever get like 3 hours into it. I know it probably has a slow start, but I never could get into it. So I'm like, okay, Rise, for this one's even better. I have a lot of friends playing this game. I can play with them. And then I just still haven't gotten around to it. And at this point, it's on PC. I still want to give this a try someday, but I just don't know if I'm ever going to have the time to really sink my teeth into this. But I really want to give Monster Hunter another try. But unfortunately, I just haven't had the time for it. Next game I got is new Super Lucky's Tale. This was originally an Xbox game, I believe it was called Super Lucky's Tale, but then they released a new version with more content. And that's when I got this. I think this was another clearance find. I think this one was like unmarked, and it was just like in the clearance section. I think I ended up scanning for like, this might have been another like $3, $5 game. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, definitely a solid, I mean, nothing amazing, but a very solid, I don't know exactly what you'd call the style platformer, kind of Mario 3D world, where it's not quite like a Mario 64 type game. But yeah, definitely a lot of fun. If you're looking for just a pretty short, pretty simple 3D platformer, then check this one out. Doesn't really matter if you play it on Switch or play it on something else, but this one I had quite a bit of fun with, and I think I 100%ed it, so I guess that's worth something. Next one I got is new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. I never got Luigi U on Wii U, so I'm like, I might as well get this. It's Mario. I guess I'll buy it, you know. I'm obligated to buy the Mario game. After playing Luigi U, that might be the best new Super Mario Bros. Game. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I think Wii is the one I have the most attachment to, because that was a lot of fun with friends back in the day. When you got games like Mario Maker or even like Tropical Freeze, this game isn't really super essential. But if you're looking for a 2D Mario game, I mean, this is what you got on the Switch, unless you're playing Mario Maker. So, I mean, decent game. New Super Mario Bros. Is overdone. I want a new 2D Mario game that's kind of in a unique style. Blah, blah. You've heard it all from probably so many people before me. So, yeah, I don't know. It's Mario. Another one is another one that was part of one of those GameStop deals, and that's Oddworld Munch's Odyssey. Still haven't played this. I've been meaning to get into Oddworld. I've had those like first 2 games on Steam for ages and never really played much of them. But I think this one's a little different. I think it's more of like a 3D. I honestly don't even know much about it, but it was just super cheap and seemed like a weird one. Like there's so many weird like physical Switch games. Like you have all those limited run games and stuff like that, but there's just a lot of weird games that get released on Switch because of how popular it is. And this is definitely, seems like a weird one to get a physical on Switch, but it did, and it was cheap, so thought I would add it. Next one I have mixed feelings on, and that's Paper Mario and the Origami King. Another game that's a little bit too long, should have been shorter. The combat system isn't really that interesting. It's better than Sticker Star. I never played Color Splash. I really like that first Paper Mario game. I've never played Thousand Year Door. I guess this and the first one are really the only ones I've played all the way through. But definitely much prefer that first one. I mean, it's decent, but I liked exploring the overworld, and that's pretty much was my favorite part of the game. A decent game overall, but not a high recommendation, unfortunately. Next one is Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Pikmin 3 was the first Wii U game I got, and I was pretty excited when it was coming to Switch. I think when I played on Wii U, I played it all with the Wiimote and Nunchuck, which when I played on here, I think I played most of it with the Pro Controller, which is something I was always hesitant about because I always preferred like the pointer controls, but it surprisingly worked pretty well. It's just Pikmin 3 with some more stuff. I don't know, if you played the Wii U version, I don't think you really need this one, to be honest. Unless you're just that hardcore of a Pikmin fan. But yeah, excited for Pikmin 4. I really need to go back and play those first 2 games someday, though. I love Pikmin 3 in general, by the way. It's probably my favorite Wii U game. Alright, here we go. We got Pokemon now. First one is Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. Pokemon Platinum is probably my favorite Pokemon game. Pokemon Black 2 is and White 2 are really close because those I'd probably consider the best game, but Platinum, it's just partially nostalgia that puts it over Black and White 2 for me. But that being said, Diamond, it was either Diamond or Leaf Green was my first Pokemon game. And I have so much nostalgia for it, but this is just so whatever. It sure is Pokemon Diamond on the Switch, I guess, but I would still honestly rather go back and play the original over this. Like, not, I've played this once. If I want to play Pokemon Diamond, I'm gonna play Pokemon Diamond on the DS. So whatever that tells you, that's all you need to know about this. It's fine, I guess. Next one I have mixed feelings on. I'm about to say it's overall positive, and that's Pokemon Legends Arceus. Definitely a nice little departure for the Pokemon series. Just running around, throwing Pokeballs at stuff. The environments were fun to explore. You had all the rideable vehicles. They really ruined my boy Sneasel with this game, though. Sneasel is one of my favorite Pokemon. I don't know what they were thinking with that. The regional variant, I don't even know. Sneasler or whatever. But yeah, definitely a cool little side thing for the Pokemon series. I still have never even seen Arceus in this game because I think the game ends with like the 𝓥𝓮𝓻𝗂 stuff. And there's like post-game stuff we have to complete the Pokedex, and I never ended up doing that. So I've heard that that's the best part of the game for many people. So maybe I'll eventually go back and do that, but I don't love it as much as everyone else seems to, unfortunately. But I'd definitely say this is probably the Pokemon game I recommend the most on Switch, which is kind of disappointing considering I don't even love it that much. Next one, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I don't even know what to say about Pokemon anymore. It's just such a frustrating franchise for me. But this one, I originally was not gonna buy. But when I saw like the Metacritic reviews, where it had like the user reviews rather, where it was like a 2 or something like that. I know people were review bombing it, but I'm like, well, gotta see what all the fuss is about. And you know what? This game's decent, not bad. Kind of annoying that it's kind of self-contained and you can't even like do stuff like breeding. For someone who just wants to play Gen 1 again, I mean, Fire Red and Leaf Green are still better, but you know, I'm honestly not mad at this game. And it's probably honestly the best looking Pokemon game at Switch, despite me absolutely hating the art style the first time I saw it. The next one is Pokemon Shield. You know what? I don't hate this game. Like, it's fine. It's nothing special, unfortunately. The gym battles were really fun. The new Pokemon were cool. The wild area was okay. I never played the DLC because I just am kind of anti-DLC, especially for a game like this where it feels like it needed more content to begin with. I don't really want to pay for that content. I feel like it should have been in the game to begin with, but you know, I'm honestly not too mad at this game. It could have been worse. But yeah, Pokemon Shield, it's fine. Now, Pokemon Violet, on the other hand, I think this game sucks. Like, flat out, probably the worst main series Pokemon game. That being said, it does have some cool stuff in it, and that's why I can kind of see why people like it, especially more than Sword and Shield. But that performance is inexcusable. The overworld I find to be big, bland, and boring. There's really nothing to do besides catch Pokemon, which I guess it's Pokemon, but I don't think the design is interesting. I don't think the layout's interesting. I don't think that the open world nature of the game, and then it being kind of blocked because it's kind of pushing you to go in certain ways because, oh, this direction is going to have over-leveled stuff. This direction is going to have stuff that's actually comparable to your level. And same thing with the gym battles. I know level scaling might not have been the best way to figure it out. It's kind of cool in a way. That like you can go one way and you can do the really hard challenge if you want, but then if you do the really hard gym, let's say you're like halfway through the game and you do what's supposed to be the last gym, then all the other gyms are going to be easy if you can beat that one. I will say that the 3 different stories, I mean, they're all really basic, but I mean, I guess that was kind of cool. I'm honestly kind of struggling to remember stuff. Like, you have these trainers out in the open field and they don't have like the line of sight, like, oh, I'm going to battle you anymore type of thing. You have to talk to them, but I think like every single one of them has like one Pokemon or something ridiculous. They're all super easy. Like, I just don't know. So many design decisions I don't get, and that performance definitely is inexcusable. I don't know, man. This is easily the worst experience I've had with a mainline Pokemon game. And a lot of people say that this game would be really good if it wasn't for the performance, but unfortunately, I just think there's so many fundamentally things wrong with this game. Like, I just don't get it at all. I think this has got to be my least favorite mainline Pokemon game, and I think unless the next one looks fantastic, I might officially be done, which is very unfortunate because Pokemon for a long time was my favorite series. This game just kind of sucks. After talking about that, it's definitely good. I'm talking about one of my favorite games of all time here, Rayman Legends. I mean, this is the definitive edition, doesn't really matter which version you play. Rayman Legends is fantastic. I remember being super excited for it on Wii U, getting it, and having a lot of fun with it. I remember playing the Rayman Legends Challenges app, like the little demo on Wii U, countless times. The Castle Rock music level, the other music levels in this game are fantastic. Like, this game is a lot of fun with other people. I'm pretty sure I 100%ed this version too. Rayman Legends is just one of the best 2D platformers ever made. I haven't played enough games in my life to maybe say that, but it's probably my favorite 2D platformer, like that and like Mario World or like Donkey Kong Country 2. And if you're looking for like an alternative to Mario or even Donkey Kong, if you played that, I can't recommend this enough. This is just peak platforming for me, and I'm so excited to get a version on the Switch so I can take it wherever I want. Next one I got is Ring Fit Adventure. Check out the actual game here. I don't know, they somehow figure out a way to make a game kind of like Wii Fit, but it is just an RPG. I don't even know what to say about this game. It's, for what it is, it's pretty much perfect. I just haven't played it as much as I would have liked to. The next one I got is Sayonara Wild Hearts. Just such a short, concise, solid game. And this is what I want out of video games. Just something short, fun, interesting, a little different. The music in this is really good. Just a great short game. Next one is another one I got 2 copies of, which is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. I've never played this, but this was super cheap, I think, at Best Buy at one point. So I decided to get a second copy. I do definitely intend on playing one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the second one. Probably give it to someone else. I know a lot of people were super upset about like when this was taken off Xbox Live and there was no real way to play it. I just haven't opened this up yet because just like with the like collection of mana, I'm just waiting. I don't want to play the single player. I want to sit down for like a weekend or one day, however long it takes to beat this game and just play through it all with someone. So that's what I'm waiting for. But looking forward to checking this one out. Next one, I've only played a little bit of it on Switch. That's Sonic Mania. I mainly played it on Steam, but I picked up the Switch version because it was really cheap. This is one of the first games I actually tried on the OLED, and it looks fantastic. Even as someone who hasn't really played the classic Sonic games, like, you just can't deny how good this game is. Definitely pick it up. Another game that, especially digitally, whether it's on Switch or on Steam, or I'm sure on Xbox and PlayStation as well, you can get for super cheap, like $5. So that you have no excuse not to play Sonic Mania. Despite being one of the few Wii U owners, I actually never played the original Splatoon, but I did end up getting Splatoon 2. And multiplayer games just aren't really my thing unless they're party games. So I just never got super into it, unfortunately. I did enjoy the single player, but that single player experience wasn't quite enough for me to get the third game, unfortunately. Splatoon's fun. It's just not necessarily my thing. So I'm just not into multiplayer stuff like that, especially like competitive multiplayer stuff. I do definitely want to check out the Octo expansion though, because I think that's, well, I guess it's not free, but if you have a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass, it comes included with that. So I've heard a lot of good things about that Octo expansion that's even a lot better than the main game, which the main game I enjoyed. So looking forward to it, but unfortunately, as someone who mainly enjoyed the single player, Splatoon is just not for me, because I don't think it's necessarily worth it as a single player experience. Next one is SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I think I played the first world in this game, and it just didn't click with me. I actually really enjoyed the original version that I played on PS2, but the art style feels kind of overdone. The controls don't quite click for me. Maybe it's just because the game hasn't aged as well as I thought, or maybe this is just kind of a subpar version of the game. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people love the graphics in this game, but that art style, I honestly kind of prefer the washed out look of the original. And I don't know, I want to go back to it, but unfortunately, based on a little bit I played, I was kind of disappointed with this version of the game as someone who quite enjoyed that original version. Haven't really played much of this one, but I do enjoy some Bomberman. I remember playing a lot of Bomberman Land on the Wii, the multiplayer with friends back in the day. So I got this really cheap. I think another one of those GameStop deal games, but I haven't really played it yet. Next one, not one, not two, but 3 copies of Super Mario 3D All-Stars. And no, I didn't try to scalp these. I bought this one when it came out, played through 100% of every game, besides Mario Galaxy, because I technically didn't play it as Luigi, but I did do everything I could do as Mario. This collection gets kind of overhated. I enjoyed my time with it. Is it kind of a cash grab? I mean, debatably 3 of the best 3D platformers ever made, or of their respective time. So I would say it's worth it. The whole thing that they pulled with their limited release was kind of dumb. But I mean, it's Mario 64, it's Mario Sunshine, it's Mario Galaxy. They're on the Switch. They look pretty good. Have a better experience through emulation, probably, but it's a very accessible way to play it. The reason why I have 2 other copies, which I could have even gotten more, but I'm not that greedy, is because these are on clearance for like $10. And I guess they're going up in price now, because I noticed that 3D All-Stars is getting more expensive, which I'm surprised, but I'm not, because the game still did sell very well despite that limited release. But I guess because the Switch is still really relevant, and you can't just find this game on store shelves, really, which in some stores you could, because as I said, this was on clearance for $10, because one of the stores by me just had so many copies, and it somehow ended up getting discounted. So I decided to pick up 2 more. I mean, will I sell these? Possibly. Will I give them to someone if I know someone who wants them? I mean, yeah, I'll definitely give them to someone locally, like one of my friends or something, if they want one. But I mean, I'm not necessarily against selling them if I decide to do so, just so I can invest that money in other games. I mean, if you saw this for $10, would you really be able to pass up a copy even if you already owned one? So yeah, that's why I have 3 copies. 2 of them are still sealed, if I didn't mention that. Next one is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury, really short game, was a lot of fun. A lot of people say they want Mario to go in that direction in the future. I'm not sure. I still prefer Odyssey a lot more. I know Odyssey is a lot more substantial game, but Bowser's Fury was a lot of fun. Definitely a really good surprise. And then 3D World, I always liked the original and had a lot of fun with it on Wii U, but I honestly think this version's even better with it being sped up. I did actually 100% this one. Well, I guess another asterisk with that one is that I didn't do it as every character. I just did it as Mario, so technically, no, I didn't 100% it. But the best way to play Mario 3D World, plus an exclusive 3D Mario game, just tacked on, just for fun. Definitely one of the best Wii U to Switch ports. Next game we got, Super Mario Maker 2. When this came out, I had a pretty darn good time with it. The single player is pretty fun. Obviously, the online's where this game shines. I haven't gone back to it too much recently, but every now and again, I think it's like the easy mode, like the challenge run or whatever, the one that's like, you get the high score. And I think I'm at like 1,500 in a row for the easy mode, which I know isn't much of an accomplishment, but that's still a lot. Normal and hard are honestly too hard for me. I remember even playing normal, not being able to get past like 20 in a row before I ran out of lives. But yeah, definitely a good time. Doesn't quite have the charm of the original in certain ways, like with the amiibo outfits, but still pretty darn good. Next one up is Super Mario Odyssey, my favorite Switch game. When this came out, I would have said it was my favorite game of all time after beating it. And while it still could be, I haven't actually ever gone through and replayed it from start to finish. I've done multiple playthroughs where I get about halfway, but never one from beginning to end, like a 100% run. But it's still definitely up there in terms of my favorite games, even if it isn't my favorite game. Just in terms of gameplay, the way this was when it came out, it was just probably the most hyped I've been for a game in quite a long time. But yeah, the movement feels perfect, the capping mechanics, a lot of fun. While looking back, more could definitely be expanded on in a sequel. So I feel like if there was a sequel that expanded upon the capping mechanics like with Mario Galaxy 2, it could be even better, but still one of my favorite games of all time regardless. What I got is Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. This is the anniversary edition that comes with, I don't remember if it's an art book or just like a big instruction manual. Oh, it is an art book. Okay. So it comes with this little art book, which is pretty cool. Got a bunch of the characters, how the designs have changed. Some stuff from each game here. All the way through to Banana Blitz HD. That's really cool there. Had a lot of fun with this one. I only really played it for like maybe the first few weeks it came out, never really went back to it. I don't remember what all I beat, but I did probably spend a solid 20 hours in it. Had a lot of fun with it. It doesn't feel quite as tight as those original games, which I really want to go back to and play. Something feels slightly off about this game. There was the overpriced DLC and all that, but in terms of a modern Monkey Ball collection, you can get this one for really cheap now. So in terms of newer Monkey Ball games, from what I understand, it's still probably the best one to get. It just doesn't quite feel as perfect as those originals did. Kind of an essential title here, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I actually did sell and then rebuy this game at one point because I'm like, well, I don't really play it. All my friends are a lot better than me. I've never been good at the game. I've never claimed to be good at the game. And everyone's just so much better than me. But I ended up buying it back. Why I sold in the first place? Probably shouldn't have. I actually never have even bought the DLC for this yet, even though I was pretty excited for like Hero and Banjo being added. I feel like I'm more of a Smash fan from the outside. Character reveals are a lot of fun. It's more of an event. And I do like the game. It's just not something... I mean, I feel like Brawl was kind of where my Smash interest peaked. I had a ton of fun with that game, but it's just hard to get together. I feel like it's not the same if it's not local. It's just hard to get together the people to play this with consistently locally. So I don't really go back to as much as I should because just playing it online isn't the same. One of the best Smash games, probably. I did actually quite enjoy World of Light. I think I'm pretty sure I've 100%ed it. Like the weekend the game came out, I 100% of World of Light, which is pretty crazy. Smash Ultimate, I mean, it's pretty darn crazy how many characters they got in this game. This one's pretty underrated, I feel, which is WarioWare Get It Together. I had so much fun with this game. Probably put about 20 hours into it, which is a lot more than most people. But I really did end up liking, even though I was skeptical at first, like how all the characters play a little different. Obviously, some are better than others, like 9-volt. It's pretty hard to control. He just automatically moves back and forth, and you really just have the button command. The micro games are a lot of fun. Some of the side content, like the prizes, or how you can like just level up and customize and change the colors of your characters. There was like the weekly Wario Cup challenges, which I haven't done in a while, but for like the first couple months after the game came out, I think I would do them every single week. Definitely one I can see myself consistently returning to throughout the future. It's got some decent multiplayer. I don't know if it's quite one of the best WarioWare games. Like Smooth Moves is probably still my favorite. The original, pretty good. Gold's pretty good. This one I do like a lot though. I do think it's better than some of the other games in the series. I had a ton of fun with this one. Definitely check it out. This is pretty much the last big RPG I played, which is Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. I only really played a couple hours of it on the Wii. When I got this, I was in. I probably beat this game in like 2 or 3 weeks, which if you know how long this game is, that's pretty impressive. Future Connected, I didn't think was that good. I just thought it was kind of okay. I mean, I guess it's cool for the hardcore fans, but it's nothing too special. But the base game is really good. I love the combat. I know a lot of people say it's hard to get used to or they don't like it, but I liked it right from the start. Pretty darn good characters, looks really good visually for the Switch, great music, pretty interesting story, reminds me a lot of stuff like Evangelion or stuff like that. Really want to play the rest of the series, check out Xenogears, Xenosaga. I just haven't had the time to do it, which brings me to the next game, which is Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I finally picked this one up recently because for a while this one was getting quite expensive, so I decided to get it after it started to kind of drop in price a little bit. I haven't had a chance to boot it up yet, but this is definitely pretty up on my priority list of RPGs to play, which as I said, I don't have as much time to play them anymore, unfortunately. I've heard some really mixed things about this one. This one definitely seems to be the most divisive out of the 3 Xenoblade Chronicles games, so we'll see where I end up standing. But I'm looking forward to checking out. I'm really hoping I like it. Otherwise, I might not end up playing it all the way through. Really interested to check this one out. Alright, we just got 2 left. The first one is Ūkulele the Impossible Lair. I remember, I think I got this game at GameStop for like $10. It wasn't even that long after it came out either. This one was a lot of fun. I actually was never able to beat the Impossible Lair level until they added the update where you had like the checkpoints where you could resume from multiple areas in the level. So if you aren't familiar, pretty much you can play the final level right from the start. But if you go through all the other levels, you unlock like more health, certain abilities that you can toggle on and off. Like I think you can have like 3 different abilities or like 2 or 3 different abilities you can turn on and off. Like one might reduce hit points, one might give you more health, one might make you invisible, one might there's a ton of them. You wanted to really play the other levels so you got that full health bar, and even though I did that, I still remember struggling a lot because I would get to like certain points and you had to do the level all in one go. Well, eventually they updated the game to make it slightly easier, where I think there's like 3 different checkpoints where it keeps your best score. So I think the maximum health is like 36. So say you got to like the first checkpoint and still had like 20 of your life or hit points left, then you could resume from that point with 20 hit points. So keep your best score for each section. So that was the only way I was able to end up beating it. I'm sure if I went back and really tried, I could go through it in one go. But I thought the overworld was really fun. I did actually really enjoy the original Yooka-Laylee when it came out. I'm not sure how I'd feel about it if I revisited it. This one's probably a little better, even though I prefer 3D platformers over 2D ones. And definitely worth checking out if you're interested in like Donkey Kong Country, like the newer Donkey Kong Country games. This one's pretty similar to that. So high recommendation for this, especially with how cheap it can get on the eShop. The last game I got is Yoshi's Crafted World. I actually think this one's pretty underrated. I enjoyed it more than Woolly World, actually. I did go through and 100% this game. I probably put about 40-50 hours in it, which was kind of ridiculous. But at the time, I'd kind of just buy Switch games one by one and just really sink my teeth into each and every one that I bought. Over time, I kind of let that go a little bit. Like originally, I'd only like buy one game at a time. I'd have to beat it before I could even allow myself to buy another one. I kind of let that go, but that's why I've beaten so many of these games, because for a long time, I just wouldn't buy another one until I beat the one I was currently playing. Yeah, pretty decent 2D platformer options that are better on the console, but yeah, it's the last game I got. With that being said, thank you for watching. This was my Switch collection. Here's everything I got here. The consoles are off to the side. Pretty happy with my collection. As I said, the only real titles I feel like I'm missing for the most part are some of the ones that came out in more recent years, like Forgotten Land or Tears of the Kingdom, and probably a few others. But I have most of the titles I want because I've been slowly adding them and playing through them as the Switch has gotten older. So yeah, thanks for watching. If there's any other videos you're interested in seeing or any feedback you got, leave it in the comments below. And once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in whatever I end up making next.